Salute Scipoli. I'm going to be reviewing some information that will help you complete exercise 32B. Um, and for some of you, I think you may have not actually seen all this information yet, and 32B is something for you to try. So if that's you, try to follow along. Like I said, you're just trying the 32B, if I told you that, of course. So we have a couple topics, but they're big topics. We have perfect system passive verbs, present system passive verbs, so all passive verbs ever. And then we have the cue words to go over. So let's actually start with the cue words because that one I'm actually going to be typing through here. So let's look at first relative pronouns. That's going to be the most common cue word that you see. Now, cue words are really important because there's a lot of different ones and they can be super confusing. So, cue words in Latin, there are lots of options. So we have first relative pronouns, and we're going to translate that as who, which, whose, whom, that can also work as well. But this is a different that than demonstrative adjectives like that desk over there. This is something, let's see, there's a play that I want to see. Okay, it's a play, but you're describing it as that one that you want to see. But you can't point to that in that sentence. Okay? So these are going to be qui, qui, quod in the dictionary. Qui, qui, quod. And quod. I know my Latin is spelled wrong. Thank you. It's not really. It just, never mind. So who, which, that. Now, these are going to be in the middle of the sentence. And usually surrounded by commas. Okay, so you're looking for these things, translating it as who, which, whose, whom, that, and they're going to be short little cue words. There is an exception, there's cui and cuius as well, but you can check out those charts in the back of either book if you need to. The second kind, we have indefinite adjectives. This is going to be translated as a certain or certain or the certain, like a certain man walked into the room. It's very unclear who you're talking about. Okay? It's going to be quidam, quidam, and quodam in the dictionary. Now, you'll notice they all end with dom, so this one's easy to pick out. It could be anywhere in the sentence, so that won't help you very much. It's an adjective, so it will be wherever it needs to be to describe that noun, which could be anywhere in the sentence. The third kind of cue word, we have interrogative pronouns. So these are asking questions because they're interrogative. So let's not start with a question mark, shall we? This is in Spanish. Who is asking a question, which asking OMG. Why do I keep typing why? So maybe you're noticing at this point, if you get past all my spelling errors, that all of these are just the question form of the relative pronouns. That is exactly what we're saying. So these are going to look super similar to the relative pronouns, but in the dictionary, they look a little bit different. Qui is your nominative. No, it's not. Sorry, quis, quid is what it's going to look like in the dictionary. Not quiz, mother of pearl. Okay. These will appear at the beginning of the sentence, so that's one big way to tell the difference between relative pronoun and interrogative pronoun. And a question mark at the end. Okay. The fourth kind of cue word, we have the conjunction. You've seen it before. It's translated as because, and it is quod. This is one of the first words you got in Latin. Okay, and it will appear in the middle of the sentence without commas. And that's really it. Now, try a translation to be sure. Okay, that means that make sure that because makes sense in your sentence instead of like who, which, who's, whom, because there is a form of a relative pronoun that's quoted, and you can even see it in the dictionary entry there. Okay, so be careful telling the difference between those. The fifth kind of cue word is quam exclamatory. So you can have an exclamation beginning with a cue word. It's going to be translated as how or wow. And notice that this isn't a question, so you're not asking how, you're exclaiming how. But I don't like that, so I change it to wow. Okay, and it's going to be quam. This one is actually really easy to pick out. I'm actually going to go and fix something. Where is it? These guys, interrogative pronouns, they're going to start the sentence. So as a reminder, I'm going to capitalize all of these. Okay, just like I capitalized quam, because quam appears at the beginning of a sentence with an exclamation mark at the end. Go figure, it's an exclamation. Okay, so be careful of those. Please reference page 15 of book 2 for all of those. Oh, no, not 15, 13, sorry. Page 13 of book 2 for a list of those examples, charts, things like that. Most of these charts, like relative pronouns, interrogative pronouns, those are in the back of either book. So let's move on to verbs. I have some things for you to look at. We're talking about passive verbs. Don't pay attention to Shimmy's little message up there. We're talking about passive verbs, and they end in different weird looking endings. If you remember aristor, more, mini, ntor for these, you will, if you remember that mnemonic, that's lovely. But as long as you know that those are passive and need to be translated a little bit differently. Now, I wish this translation here included the be, like I am being called, you are being called. That be to me tells me right away that it's passive, and it's easier for someone learning the passive to know that if you put the be in there. But you don't have to, as you can see from this English. You are going to form these passive forms just like any other present tense verb. Okay, this is present, except instead of OST, most tisn endings, you're going to have our ristor, more, many, ntor endings. Okay, so let's go back real quick and let's sort of look at them all as a whole. You're going to put these together just like any other present, imperfect, and future verb, except it's got these new endings here. Everybody that's watching this video should have known that already. Now we're going to go to something that maybe you don't already know. Okay, so if you are a group that I said you're going to be trying exercise 32B, this is the new part right here. So we are looking at perfect, pluperfect, and future perfect passive verbs. These are really weird, goofy looking forms, and you need to be super, super, super careful. Okay, so let's look at them a little closer. These endings aren't the traditional kind of endings because there are two words involved. Notice a space. The space is really important. You should not have one word when you're done with this. You should have two. I always call it the two-word format. So in the dictionary, a verb has 4 principal parts, right? Just real quick, 4 principal parts like a mow, amare, amavi, and amatos. That's something you've seen for quite a while now, no matter who you are. Of course, we need that, just in case you forgot. We're going to be using the fourth principal part, the one that we have possibly never used yet at this point. So I'm going to start with that. That's going to be my first word in my two-word format. Okay. After that, I'm going to add a form of to be, and if you remember, to be is sum. So amatos sum. There you go. Let's go back to this so you can see them all. We have our forms of to be over here, sum ss, sumos estis sun, and this little website considers that the actual ending, and I wouldn't disagree with that. Okay. For this verb rectos, giggle, giggle. It's the verb to rule, okay? So the ending here might change from us to a to depending on the gender of your subject, but I am so not concerned with that. If you get that, it's the fourth principal part, I'm happy, okay? What I want you to know, more importantly, I think, is the technical ending over here. I'm telling you who's doing the action. I, you, he, she, it, we, y'all, they. Okay. This is perfect, so we are going to translate it as have. Okay. And it's going to be passive, so put a been on it to make me happy. So I have been ruled, you have been ruled. That makes it passive. Okay. Let's go back real quick. This will not take long. The other ones are very similar. I'm not even going to click on them. The only thing that's different is the second word. Okay, you're going to take a past form or imperfect form of to be for the pluperfect, so aram, aras, arat, aramus, aranus, aran, and that'll be your second word. The first word stays the same as the fourth principal part. Future perfect. Notice again that the second word changes to the future form of to be, ero, eris, erit, remus, eritus, erunt. Notice that the erunt has the u, even though it's future perfect. In the passive, the int does not appear. Okay, and again, you're going to start, the first word's going to be your fourth principal part, and add in that form that we just talked about. And in all of them, they're passive, so they're going to have been. Notice the been as I go up through all of these. Been is there making it passive, and then you have the other tense indicator in all of them. Will have or shall have for the future perfect, had for the pluperfect, will have, not will have, sorry, just that, have for the perfect. Okay, have or has. Good luck with 32B, especially if you're just trying it. For your direction at the end, I would like you to list 3 words, not phrases. I should only see 3 words on your sheet at the end of your paper that describe ancient Rome to you. Okay, so if you can explain why that word describes ancient Rome, then it's right. But be able to explain it, and you'll have a correct answer there. So any English word, just to be clear, English word that describes ancient Rome. But I guess if you give me the Latin, I will give you some bonus. So maybe a bonus opportunity. But remind me, I won't remember that. Okay. Good luck again. Stra out.